the idea, the concept of cholangioscopy has been around since, I'm going to do this fast, I promise this isn't going to be like a brief history of all cholangioscopy, but the idea of cholangioscopy has been around since like the 1970s. But basically the idea was we do colonoscopies, we do EGDs, we do it all with direct visualization. Why do we work in ERCP with fluoro and two-dimensional images of a three-dimensional structure? So it was how do we get inside the biliary tree and actually see what's happening? So when they're doing brushings for strictures, here at the University of Kansas, they have access to this technology called FISH. So normally when you do a brushing, you do two, right? You do one for path, one for FISH. The results with that are typically about 50% successful. So of every ERCP brushing that you do in that patient, 50% of the time that patient's going to have to come back and do another brushing or do some different type of diagnostic work to find out what's actually happening. Spyglass, if you biopsy, you directly visualize where the stricture is, you see it in the biliary tree and you biopsy it, those success rates are closer to 97%. So it's one time, one procedure, get a biopsy, diagnose the patient, and then find out what the next step is. That's the number one reason that people started using Spyglass. The second reason is for stone. It's for stone destruction. It's to go in and make sure there's no stones in there, make sure there's no impacted stones, make sure there's not Moritz syndrome where you have a stone in the cystic duct that's going to pop out later, or impacted ducts in the hepatics. You can just go in, make sure everything's clear. If it's not clear, pull out an EHL probe, hit play, blow up the stone, and sweep all that out. So that's really what Spyglass is for. Yep. Stones and strictures. So it comes in the package. And I'm not going to put it back as pretty as it is now. But basically, all this is in this lid. They live right here. This is where all your spy scopes are. This is where your spy bites are. And then we have other accessories as well. But I'm not going to get into all that right now. So this package comes out. Now, typically, you have some type of I'm going to show you. So, but basically, this is what you're looking at, right? Right. Like you have a scope view, and over here in an ERCP, you have a C-arm view, right? Yeah. So, if they say it's time to do, I want to do a Spyglass case, the first thing we got to make sure is that the Spyglass console is turned on. It's just like your computer at home. It takes a couple minutes to boot up, so you want to give it that time. The next thing we're going to do. How are you with technology at home? Are you okay with your TV and stuff?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So basically, all I'm doing is I'm going to choose picture-in-picture.
Oh, okay.
Okay? So I'm going to turn on picture-in-picture. 99% of the time, that's what you're going to see. You're going to see a gray screen picture-in-picture. Okay. Basically, that's because it's looking probably at the EUS input, which is not turned on right now. So we just have to switch it from looking for EUS on the picture-in-picture to look at the Spyglass. And really there's only a couple settings, so I'm going to hit input select. Okay. So that's going to select which input is set to picture-in-picture. So I hit that, and I get my Spyglass image. Okay. Now, if I want to change the way that those images are set up, then I choose my mode of picture-in-picture. So this mode is me just cycling through. Big spy, small endo, all spy, big endo, small spy. Right. And that's just, you know, you can just swap through those however they want to swap through them. Okay. But basically, if you understand that you turn on spy, pick how you want to look at it, and pick if you're looking at EUS or Spyglass, you're going to be the rock star tech with Spyglass. And I know it seems like not a lot, but it's a big deal. Here's the other thing that happens. This is the one last watch out when you come back here. This yellow and black cord goes the only one other than power that comes out of the back of Spy. It goes from here and it goes right up into the back of the Olympus processor. Okay. Most of the time, this plug gets knocked loose by people putting the keyboard back in here over and over. It stretches the cord and pops it out. If you do what we just said, turn on Spy, pick an input, and you don't have a picture, I would look behind the console just to make sure that's plugged in. Because if that's plugged in, this works 100% of the time. Okay. We've tried other ways to do it, other simpler ways. It doesn't end up being simpler. Okay? So if you would, please give me a spy image on the monitor. Alright, make my spy image big. Okay, I only want to see spy. I only want to see endo and a little spy. Please turn off Spyglass. You're awesome.
I'm the rock star.
Okay. Now, that, what we just did, is the 99% of doing a spy case. If you can do that, the rest of it goes really nicely.
Okay.
So spy comes out. There's a white cord with a blue arrow on top that plugs into the console, if you would. The Spyglass catheter comes as soon as it lights up. You're in good shape. You know that it's on and working. It comes in a hula hoop. We're just going to pull off the hula hoop. And you have a wire right now that's coming out of your ERCP scope that you're managing over here, your long wire. You're just going to backload that long wire over spy. You can always cut the light source off if you don't want to be blinded during that process. So just make sure this is nice and straight. You're going to start backloading that, and what's going to happen is Rastogi or Ollier, so if you hold this, so you're over here and you're dealing with that wire. Rastogi and Ollier are going to have their ERCP scope. This is going to attach just below the biopsy port. This is going to come out, stretch around, lock on the scope, and then they're going to have big dials up here for ERCP and little Spyglass dials down here.
Okay.
So you see the tip of the Spyglass scope?
Oh, yeah.
This moves in every single direction. This, just like a normal ERCP scope, also has a lock.
Okay.
So you can lock these dials. So I can turn it and I can get to stay at that angle. I can turn this.
So left is locked, turn to the other.
No,
This right here.
this right here is either unlocked.
Okay.
This is locked for both dials.
Okay.
Alrighty.